I was tagged in this Am I the A-hole post a couple of times. This is a good find out season story, so buckle up. All right, she says, am I the a-hole for not telling my ex his passport was revoked and causing him to miss his flight? Absolutely not. It is not your business to tell him about his business, and this is your ex. But let's look at the story. My ex and I have been divorced for 2 years. We have 2 kids, an 8-year-old son, a 5-year-old daughter. Everything was great until our daughter was born, and then it was like a switch flipped, and he was a completely different person. I held out for as long as I could, but then when he began an affair, I filed for divorce. He fought me every step, and it took over a year to finalize. During the divorce, I was awarded primary custody. He was ordered to pay support, which he has never done. I don't need it, but it would be nice to have it to save for the kids, so I did sign up for enforcement. I don't badger him about it. I know to him it's a way to try to get me to talk to him. I just let enforcement do their thing. Since he's so far behind, they have suspended just about everything they can. They send notices to him when this happens, but I'm sure he doesn't open them. I am first-generation American, and most of my extended family still lives abroad. My grandmother recently passed away earlier this year, and I decided I wanted to visit my family with my kids and see her resting place. X and I had some back and forth because I need permission from him to leave the country. He agreed, but made a point to tell me that he now feels it is a good time to take a vacation and that he was always planning to visit my family's country. I was already anticipating this because following us is something he does every time I take the kids on a trip. My lawyer drafted a document to be signed and notarized that I was being given permission to take our kids out of the country for specific dates. She also included a clause that he has up until 72 hours prior to the day of travel to revoke his permission. He agreed. The day arrives for us to leave, and I get to the airport with the kids 3 hours before our flight. Things go smoothly, and I take the kids to a diner to grab some breakfast. X arrives much later, and as we're finishing up, I get a call from him. Turns out his passport was revoked due to lack of child support payment. He was denied at check-in, and there's no way he can get his passport reinstated without paying his arrears in full. He said that since he can't go, he no longer gives me permission to take. I reminded him that we are past the 72 hours for him to deny my travel request. He said that he was going to inform an officer that I was trying to kidnap his children. I told him to do whatever he felt was necessary. Officers did show up at the gate to figure out what was going on, but I had the notarized agreement with me, so they sent us on our way. He kept spamming my phone nonstop until we got on the plane, where I was able to turn it off and get some peace for the flight. While we were in the air, he called my brother to complain. We met through him, and they're still friends, and I have now been given an earful about how cruel it was for me to continue with the trip, knowing he wouldn't be able to follow us, and that I did not tell him on purpose. My mother told him to stay out of it and that it's no longer my responsibility to remind him to open his mail. But some extended family agree with my brother. I don't think I'm the a-hole for continuing our trip, but I am questioning whether I'm the a-hole for not giving him a heads up that he should check his passport. I didn't know it was revoked for sure, but I suspected. Am I the a-hole? Edit to add, because I keep seeing this and I can't keep up with the comments, he can absolutely afford child support. He is self-employed, hence no garnishment, unfortunately, but does well. Him not paying is solely a control tactic. He was not happy about the divorce. Now he does whatever he thinks will punish me for going through with it. That includes purposely withholding support. However, I make decent money, enough to pay bills, put a little savings away for the kids, and take them to do fun stuff a couple of times a year. So it really doesn't affect me. He knows that the money would go right to the kids' savings account, but he expects me to beg him for it. Eventually, it will catch up to him, and he'll have to pay it some way or another. It's just him prolonging the inevitable and making things more difficult for himself. Also, I don't know why this isn't clear, at least for one person that keeps falsely stating it over and over on different comments. But we were not going on vacation together at all. Nothing was planned together. This was solely a trip for me and the kids. The document stated it was for me and the kids and that I would be taking full responsibility for them. It was not and never was a we are taking the kids on vacation. That was made extremely clear to him and he understood. So him being unable to leave the country for his vacation had absolutely no bearing on our trip, as they were two distinctly separate travel arrangements. I wanted to come back to this part. He began an affair. She filed for divorce. And because she filed for divorce, he became vindictive. He became vindictive because some of these people think that women are just going to sit there and accept a cheater who's having an affair. But this is one of the reasons why they are so irritated with women being financially stable, financially independent, because when they do stuff that is this out of line and out of pocket, women can just leave. In times past, when women were not financially stable and couldn't afford to, they had no choice but to sit there and take it. She did not have to sit there and take it. And because she is financially independent and she has more than enough to take care of her kids and herself, it probably really rankles his nerves. And the fact that she's not begging him to just do things also irks him. But the thing is, she has she has a lawyer, she has good advice, and she has good instincts. So I really love this story. I loved it from the beginning, and I really hope that you do too. Because this is what we have got to do. Obviously, when you have kids, what I have been saying is have the capacity to take care of them yourself, just in case, because you never know. But, she planned for the just in case, and I am so here for it. I am not here for this, where the brother is taking the side of the ex. But it really does go to show how many of them will stay on code and how he can disregard what his sister is going through at the hands of his ex. The sister is not being paid child support as she is deserved, but the brother still wants to take up for the ex, who is a cheater. Absolutely not. That would definitely damage my sibling relationship if that were to ever happen. This is one of the comments that I was tagged in. Nemesis says, not the a-hole, you're not his wife anymore. Therefore, you are not his admin secretary anymore to manage his own life. This guy needs to hold his own nuts. As Bourbon Bougie would say, financial planning is family planning. While your ex is no longer married to you, he is responsible for the kids that you do have. Therefore, there will be consequences for being a deadbeat parent. You're not the a-hole. It is FAFO season, and your ex is at that find out season. Absolutely love the comment. I'm glad I was tagged in on this one, and she is right. He has to face the consequences of his inaction. Those are his kids too. He has a responsibility to his children. Pretzel Mama says, why is your brother encouraging your ex to stalk you? Penny Project says, this is my question. Why was he okay with the ex following OP to visit her family? Ex is no longer part of her family. Even if he did want to go to the same place on vacation, he doesn't need to time his trip with hers. It's creepy that she can't go anywhere without him going too. Tomahawk Cruz says, brother sounds like an idiot. Ooh, feeling touch at the bottom makes a good point. This person says worse. He sounds like a man enabling misogynistic abuse. This is what women mean when they say the men around them aren't supportive, even if they aren't the abusive one. I've seen tons of stories like this. Exactly. Some people are like, we protect the women in our family, and I'm only going to protect the women that I know, blah, blah, blah. Well, when it comes to showing it, where is that? Where is that supposed protection? It should show up right here. All right, y'all. That's all the comments I'm going to do for this one. Let me know what you think. Did this find out season touch your spirit a little bit? Let me know in the comments. Like, comment, and share. There is a follow-up for a story that I did yesterday. She says, update for my previous post. We broke up, LOL. Apparently, I'm the problem. So it sounds like she is taking it really hard. So let's get into it. So yesterday I read his whole message, but he does end with, I need a son, so if you want to take sole control over the name of my lineage, then I can't be with you. And here's the woman saying, you've made it pretty clear I'm not the one for you, praying for the woman that ends up with you. And then he says, right, because I have traditional conservative values and I want my son named after me. Get over yourself. And then down here, her caption was simply, no, I'm not pregnant. It was hypothetical. So he is this upset with this woman over a hypothetical son. And the thing is, she's not pregnant. And if she were to get pregnant, they could technically have a daughter. So he's sitting up here breaking up with her over this. But she's taking it, she seems to be taking it well, but she did come back and let us know that they are broken up. And this is for the people that were saying, run, she's not pregnant. And she has gotten away. Happy-go-lucky Ocean says, I'm glad that you're not having kids together. Honestly, I believe names should be decided on together, not just strong-arming either party to agree to a name, disagree with the name. If my husband were to tell me he wants our child named after him, we'd have an open discussion about why and what parts of his name are important to have as a part of the child's name. Compromise is key. If you're committed and or married to someone, compromise is the way that commitment stays solid and everyone feels respected. And then like Temporary Exchange says, there would be no compromise. OP's now ex-boyfriend wouldn't allow it. And that is true because the ex-boyfriend was like, my son should have my name and I'm going to give him my values. The kid is both of theirs. Like, this is not just his kid. And like I said before, how would he even know he's having a son? So this is a good thing, for happy-go-lucky Ocean to say, but I did not see where that ex-boyfriend was open to compromise. Then Happy says, we don't know because it doesn't seem like OP even tried to have a conversation about the name. It was her way or the highway. I feel like if she had had a conversation about it, they could have compromised. I didn't see that she was the problem at all. I read his screed. I read his manifesto. That man was not open to compromise. And that's what Lyra Silvertongue says. He straight up said, what happens to my kid is my decision, right after calling women gullible and stupid, but really the R word. He's not open to compromise and has absolutely no respect for women. OP was smart to run. Parenting with him would be a nightmare. So this person, who you'll have to read the screen name, well, I'll just tell you, he said, this person's name is funny. Not on my peen, you don't. Hilarious. He's responding to happy-go-lucky Ocean saying, same. I feel like OP is getting queened over being about paternal rights. So obviously this is a man who thinks that the ex-boyfriend is in the right. But his name just kind of made me chuckle. I steal your snack says, that nut job must have faked being normal long enough for you to get with him in the first place, because I don't see why or how anyone would rationally choose to be in his life, let alone date him. I'm glad that mask fell off before he could trap you. Absolutely, because co-parenting with somebody like this seems like it would be terrible. Felixer of Life says, the OP and anyone in an abusive relationship like this needs to Google, why does he do that PDF? It's a really helpful book, and adding PDF should find a digital version. Slinky Malinky says, feels like guys who say things like gullible and stupid women and who bemoan feminism and whatever fresh hell his explanation of reproduction was should come with warning labels and ideally a vasectomy. Black Cat Television says, you just know he's never going to connect the breakup with him calling her entire gender stupid and her by extension. Women are just so mean to this guy. Seriously, OP, consider yourself lucky. Bazooka dodged. Jay the Bearded says, he already says he can't be with you because of this. Sounds like he needs to get over you. Hope you leave that man in the trash where he belongs. Absolutely, I agree. So I just wanted to bring you all this update. It seems like she's going to be okay, but you all go ahead and weigh in. It's Tuesday. It's also Taco Tuesday. So we will be talking about Taco Trump. And what does that mean? Trump always chickens out. This is in regards to his tariffs and how he puts on these ridiculous tariffs and then takes them off. He watches the market crash and then he backs away from his stances. And so the people on Wall Street started calling him Taco, or Trump always chickens out. Now, Trump is a very thin-skinned man. He does sit up and insult people all the time. He comes up with all of these mean-spirited nicknames. So we just have to hammer home that we think that he is a chicken, that he has absolutely no game plan. He just goes off of whims and vibes. That's how he's making decisions. Whims and vibes in social media. That is literally how this dude is running government and is causing chaos, destruction, and all of the bad things. Anyways, let's get more into this Taco Tuesday thread. Jimmy Kimmel came over to Threads to post his video regarding Taco Trump. It goes, Taco, Taco Man, I've got to be a taco man. He did a whole production and everything. He says in his caption, Trump hates his new nickname Taco, so out of respect, we made this song. Taco, Taco Man, Taco Man. So yes, out of respect, we're going to continue to call him Taco Man. Okay, so I wanted to get to this comment from Brian. He says, it's funny that that's all the demon Nazis have is stupidity like this. Nicknames, really. He's talking about the demon Nazis making nicknames. You know, that right there is already hypocritical, but okay. He said, that's it. No wonder this party is doomed. You're more concerned with virtue signaling nicknames and not actual solutions to problems. Let's be honest, the Democrats have been in charge for the last 4 years, and that was just a few months ago. Let's not forget who caused the highest inflation in history while stealing our money through a network of NGOs. So he said a whole lot of falsehoods. Okay, so comment dissector comes through and basically breaks down Brian's comment, saying we've dissected this comment. This comment is a mashup of projection, deflection, and conspiratorial thinking. It leans heavily on inflammatory language, demon Nazis, false premises, and partisan blame shifting to avoid substantive engagement. Let's dissect it. Number one, he hones in on it's funny that all the demon Nazis have is stupidity like this. Nicknames, really. This person says this is pure projection. The comment uses a slur while accusing others of name calling. It reflects tribalism over argument. Insult first, think later. If you're mocking nicknames while using one yourself, you are not making a coherent point. Number one, hones in on no wonder this party is doomed. You're more concerned with virtue signaling nicknames and not actual solutions to problems. This assumes that the entire Democratic Party is focused on superficial optics rather than policy, which is provably false. Democrats have passed major legislation over the past few years, e.g., Inflation Reduction Act, infrastructure bill. Whether or not you agree with them, calling that no solutions is just willful ignorance. Ironically, this comment itself contains no policy discussion, just accusations, so it becomes exactly the kind of empty rhetoric it claims to oppose. Number three, he hones in on, let's be honest, the Democrats have been in charge for the last 4 years, and that was just a few months ago. Fact check. Democrats held the House, Senate, and presidency for 2 years in 2021 and 2022. Republicans took the House in January 2023. So no, Democrats have not been fully in charge for 4 straight years. This is a common overstatement used to shift all the blame onto one party, regardless of context or actual legislative power. Number 4 hones in on, let's not forget who caused the highest inflation in history. This is factually inaccurate. The highest inflation rates in U.S. history occurred in the late 70s and early 80s, not under Biden. The COVID-19 pandemic, global supply chain issues, and corporate price gouging all contributed to the recent spike. Blaming it solely on one political party is simplistic and misleading. I love comment dissector. Number 5 hones in on while stealing our money through a network of NGOs, saying this is conspiracy thinking, not a grounded accusation. There is no evidence of stealing money through NGOs as some widespread democratic plot. It borrows language from far-right propaganda that treats nonprofits, especially humanitarian or environmental organizations, as tools of corruption without offering proof. They don't need proof. MAGA supporters do not need proof of anything at all because they are willfully ignorant. Comment Dissector says, core tactics use, projection, accuses others of name-calling while doing the same. False blame shifting, oversimplifies inflation and economic struggle to one party. Hyperbole and misinformation, claims highest inflation in history and theft via NGOs without evidence. Tribal framing, treats political disagreements as moral failure or stupidity. Conspiracy rhetoric, hints at vast coordinated corruption without offering proof. Final summary. This comment is built on double standards, misinformation, and rage masquerading as insight. It complains about name-calling while engaging in it, attacks virtue signaling while offering no facts or solutions of its own, and recycles talking points divorced from reality. If your argument depends on distortion and insult, is not a strong argument, is a shield against engaging in the real world. Whoever came up with this just nailed it and nailed Brian for that whole cluster F of major proportions. But Brian is indicative of what the MAGA party is. Absolutely nothing. A whole nothing burger or a whole taco nothing. All right, some more comments under Brian's comment. F Trump all the way to hell. Now that is a name, says. So when they said, let's go Brandon, it was okay. When they said Sleepy Joe, it was okay. When they said Pocahontas, it was okay. Man, shut the F up. All right, Eileen says, I'm going all middle school and say, he started it. Absolutely, he started it. Trump deserves all of the vitriol. He deserves people to talk about him because he talks about everybody. Richard says, a Trump supporter is complaining about Democrats making up an insulting nickname for Trump. Seriously? Right, this makes no sense. Trump is always talking mess about people. Big Sweet says, Sleepy Joe, Little Marco, Low Energy Jeb. It's also ironic that you use a stupid nickname at the same time as criticizing someone else for doing it. You are truly a moron, and the Democrats haven't been in charge for the last 4 years. You really need to be more aware of how the government works. They don't care how the government works. They don't care about facts at all. They just talk mess. Pamela says, right, Meatball Ron and Pocahontas too. Sean says, bro doesn't like receiving a taste of his own medicine. You only have yourself to blame for this childishness. And here's me saying, what's he called, the California governor? Gavin Newsom. I mean, dude stays insulting people. I think it's only right that we insult him. I believe in matching energy. So we need to call him things. It makes sense to me. Now we got FDJT saying, you're a fool. Your boy Conald Plump, I like that name, Conald Plump, a.k.a. Taco, a.k.a. Dipsh Donnie, a.k.a. Fat Boy Von Schitz's Pants, is the king of calling people pathetic names. Those of us who despise him, not all of us are Democrats, by the way, are just giving him a taste of his own medicine, and neither he nor his cult members like you can take it. It's hilarious. It really is hilarious. And Fat Boy Von Schitz's Pants, he deserves all of it. He deserves it all. All right, y'all. Hopefully you enjoyed this taste of Taco Tuesday. There will probably be more Taco Tuesday to talk about on this Tuesday. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, and share.